जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय कृष्ण बलराम 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 जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधेश्याम जय राधेश्याम जय ललित विशाख जय राधेश्याम ललित विशाख जय राधेश्याम जय विशाख जय राधेश्याम ललित विशाख जय राधेश्याम जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री 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 वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की समवेत भक्तवृंद की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled Knowledge of the Absolute, verse number 6. etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā sarvāṇīty upadhāraya kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya aham kṛtsnasya jagataḥ pralayas tathā. Etad, these two natures, yonīni, whose source of birth, bhūtāni, everything created, sarvāṇi, all, iti, thus, upadhāraya, no, aham, I, kṛtsnasya, all inclusive, jagataḥ, of the world, prabhavaḥ, the source of manifestation, pralayas, annihilation, tathā, as well as. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So everybody can repeat. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain I am both the origin and the dissolution. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by spirit. Spirit was not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because that superior energy, spirit soul, is present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the Supersoul Viṣṇu. Therefore, spirit and matter, which combine to manifest this gigantic universal form, are originally two energies of the Lord. And consequently, the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may be the cause of a big skyscraper, a big factory, or even a big city. But He cannot be the cause of a big universe. The cause of the big universe is the big soul, or the Supersoul, and Krishna, the Supreme, is the cause of both the big and small souls. Therefore, He is the original cause of all causes. This is confirmed in the Kaṭha Upaniṣad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. That's it. So, we'll discuss this. First, we'll say the prayers. Om Ajnānatimirandhasya Jnānāñjana-salākaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhūtale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Tat Sat. Okay, now we are doing 6th verse of the 7th chapter. Let us first start to understand how Bhagavad Gita 18 chapters are divided into 3 parts. The first 6 chapters are concentrating mainly on Karma Yoga, And the middle 6 chapters are talking about Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters are talking about Jnana Yoga. So this Bhakti is very confidential and it is the most important. So it is kept in the middle very securely. So in the beginning, like for example, I can give you some example. Like usually what happens when we go to the city sometimes, everybody is cleaning the city very nice and neat, and never it has actually been like that. But they start to clean the city and start to put nice flower plants and all this side, that side. Then we'll start to think, what's going on? Maybe somebody is going to come or something. Maybe that's why all these things are going on. Otherwise, usually it won't be that clean or anything. But anyway, people start to clean up. So we start to wonder, maybe somebody is going to come. So that is true. In about 2-3 days, some great personality is visiting. So that is why all these decorations are happening. So then what happens? The day when this great personality, whoever it might be, prime minister or a president, whoever is going to come, that day so many people crowd on the road. And first what will happen? A big all the motorcycles, cars will come. Then we'll think, oh, somebody is coming. Then everybody will become alert. They want to see that whoever is important person that's in the middle. So first all the bodyguards and everybody will go. They'll want to secure this person. So then immediately everybody become alert. We want to see who is that, who is coming. Then in the middle, that most important prime minister or president or queen of England, whoever, then again there are bodyguards. Why I'm telling this, you might be thinking, how does this relate to what we are saying? So why I'm telling this is because how these bodyguards and all, in the beginning, the cars and all, they come, and in the middle, the most important person, again, there's all the security people. So bhakti, even the first 6 chapters compared to all these people who come in the beginning, like the bodyguards and all this, cars, and in the middle, the most important person, we become very alert. So how this important, so Krishna is very nicely put Bhakti Yoga in the middle, which is Rahasya. Cannot be understood by anyone and everyone. So like that, this Bhagavad Gita is put in the middle. Beginning Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then in the end, middle Bhakti Yoga. Very, very confidential. And also in the 7 to 12 Bhakti Yoga, in that 9 and 10 chapters are even more confidential. Krishna reveals Vijnana here. So now what happened is, in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled Dhyana Yoga, the last verse of the 6th chapter, Krishna says that Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam sameyukta tamamata tamomataha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. So Krishna is telling, of all the yogis, Bhakti Yoga, the one who is doing all this, of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. So who is this? Bhakti Yogi, right? So Krishna, in the previous verse, he says, tapasvibhyo diko yogi, jnanibhyo pimatodikaha karma. So Krishna told all this hierarchy, this better than Karma Yogi is Jnana Yogi, better than Jnana Yogi is Ashtanga Yogi, then better than Ashtanga Yogi is Bhakti Yogi. Bhakti Yogi is the topmost. So Krishna finally ended this 6th chapter saying that Bhakti Yogi is the topmost yogi. So how to become such a topmost yogi, Krishna is going to explain in the 7th chapter, very first verse. Krishna is himself very inspired to talk how one can attain to that state of yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana. How can one become such a topmost yogi? That is my opinion, Krishna says at the very end. So how to become the topmost yogi? Krishna is explained in the 7th chapter, very first verse. Sri Bhagavan uvacha maya sakta manaha partha yogam yunjanmadashrayaha asamshayam samagram mam yathagnyasasi takchrunu. So Krishna is telling, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So Krishna is telling, now hear. So how to understand Krishna, how to know Bhakti Yoga, what is Bhakti? All of us who are all here in ISKCON movement, first our bhakti started with hearing. Hearing is very, very important. The soul, when the soul enters into the womb of the mother, the first sense that develops is hearing. And when we die, the last sense that leaves is also hearing. From womb to tomb. Womb to tomb. The child enters into the womb of the mother, and we all know the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Actually, in 7th canto, there's a question asked, Prahlad, we always see that you are always in this palace of 4 walls. How did you attain this bhakti? All the schoolmates, demoniac schoolmates asked Prahlad, how did you get this bhakti? You are always in the confined wall of this 4 walls like that. How did you attain this? Can you please tell us? Then Prahlad Maharaj tells all this story, like he tells that when my father went to do great austerities, Mandarachala mountain, that time all the demigods attacked the palace of Hiranyakashipu. My father dismantled everything and they started to arrest Kayadu. She was pregnant at that time, but still they started to arrest Kayadu, because then at that very moment Narad Muni comes and he says, what are you people doing? They said, no, we are arresting this lady. Till she gives birth to this baby, she'll be under our custody. Narad Muni said, no, you are completely mistaken. Why you want to? मैं बाद में बताती हूँ माता जी, हाँ मैं बाद में ज़रूर आपको क्लास होने के बाद बताती हूँ. So then why we will be keeping this lady under our custody? Then they asked, why do you want to even keep her, arrest her? Then they said that in the womb of this lady, the seed of this great demon. Till the child is born, we cannot release her. Then Narad Muni comes and tells, you are all very mistaken. Guess what? In the womb of this lady, there is a pure devotee of the Lord. You cannot kill him. Then immediately, because they are divine, like the demigods, they are divine nature, because when they hear from the sages, from the great sage Narad Muni, they released her. But if the demoniac people, if we tell such people, they will not listen. Good instruction given to demoniac people, they cannot understand nor they can accept that instruction. But because these people were demigods, they put faith in the words of Narad Muni and they released this Kayadu. And not only these demigods headed by Indra, they released her, they also circumambulated her. Why was that? Because there was pure devotee in the womb of this lady, they circumambulated her also. So like this, so then afterwards Prahlad says that when they arrested my mother, then this Narad Muni took my mother and gave shelter, took her to his ashram and gave complete protection from all directions. And and my mother used to do menial services to him, and he used to impart transcendental knowledge. And because I was in the womb of my mother, I heard Narad Muni speaking this Bhagavatam. I heard with rapt attention. The child was in the womb of the mother, but still he heard Bhagavatam in the womb of the mother. And whenever this mother Kayadu used to doze off, and Narad Muni gave a pause, and the baby in the womb said, come on, continue, I want to hear. Then Narad Muni started to continue. Then he told that because of that so much time and passage, my mother forgot all the instructions. Being a woman and less intelligent, she forgot all those instructions. Whereas me, I remember everything. I received this knowledge from Parampara, from Narad Muni. So I could remember everything. So that's why this hearing is so powerful. The entire Bhagavatam, the essence is hearing. Because the soul is actually in an unconscious state. Jeev jago, Gaura Chanda bole, Kota nidra jao maya, Pishachi rakole. So Jeev jago. How does this Jeev jago happen? When the sound vibrations enter into the ear holes, then we started to wake up. Jeev jago happens. So that's why this hearing is the most important, from the womb to tomb. Hearing. So Krishna is starting this chapter saying that now here, how to understand bhakti. Krishna is inspired to speak in the beginning. Usually in the other chapters, Arjuna is asking a question, Krishna is responding. But in the 7th chapter, Krishna is beginning his speech. He wants to tell about himself. So now here, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Then Krishna is telling the second verse, Jnanam teham sa vijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshataha yajñātvā neha bhūyonya jñātavyam avashishyate. I shall declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Because everything in the material, in the world, is created of these two. What is that? Material and spiritual. That is, phenomenal means material and numinous means spiritual. So when you know, the whole world is a combination of matter and spirit. And the source of both, who is the source of both? That when we know that, that is jnana. And what is vijnana? Vijnana is realized knowledge. Krishna is the source of both the energies. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Krishna also says, ahaṁ sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha-bhava samanvitaha. And in the 10th chapter he says, Chatursloki Bhagavad Gita, very, very nice. 10th chapter, 8th verse. Ahaṁ sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha-bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all this material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. So Krishna is Supreme God. Everything is emanating from him. So here Krishna is telling, I shall declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. So everything in the material world is a combination of matter and spirit. Then Krishna is telling, who will understand Krishna? What is the qualification to understand Krishna? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschinmam veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. In tattvataha. In truth, so out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth, Krishna is telling. In the next verse, Krishna will start to tell about this. His material energy, separated material, apara prakriti and para prakriti and all that. How everything, that the creation happened. The other day, Prabhu was showing the slides of all these 3 Viṣṇus, how the creation happened, Mahaviṣṇu. From the pores of his body, so many, when he breathes out, so many universes come out, and Garbhodaksha Viṣṇu enters into each one of them, and then Brahma is being born from the womb of that navel of that Brahma, this lotus flower sprouts on top of that, Brahma is born. So like that, Mahaviṣṇu is the original, and then Garbhodaksha Viṣṇu expands, and then Kshirodaksha Viṣṇu, who lives as Paramatma in the heart of all living entities. So when we know about these 3 Viṣṇus, we'll be liberated. So also here it said, Bhūmirapo nalo vayuh kammano buddhirevacha ahaṁ yamme bhinna prakritirastada. So 5 gross elements. What's that? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So all these 24 elements are coming from these basic elements. So Krishna is telling, they are my separated material energies, apara prakriti. Then after that Krishna tells us para prakriti. Besides this, apareyami tastvanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhūtāṁ mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So this is apara prakriti and then para prakriti. There is a separated energies and the spiritual energy. Then Krishna is telling, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy that was inferior, and this is superior energy of mind, which comprise the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Then Krishna today's verse, etad-yonīni bhūtāni sarvāṇīty upadhāraya ahaṁ kṛtsnasya jagataḥ prabhavaḥ pralayas tathā. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So all created beings have their source in these two natures. Our body is made up of gross body and subtle body, and we are not these material bodies, we are spirit souls. So Krishna is telling all created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Krishna is the origin, and not only is the origin and dissolution, he is also the maintainer, which we cannot see him. Krishna is doing everything, but we cannot see him. To understand that, he is giving a simile here. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. We see the pearl necklace, right? We only see the pearls. But what is holding those pearls? What is what is supporting those pearls? We don't see. What's that? The thread. So like that, Krishna is holding everything. He's maintaining, he's creating his dissolution, and is also maintaining everything. So we cannot understand this because Krishna is telling, just like thread, we cannot see that thread, what is holding. That thread that is like Krishna. He's holding everything. Creation, maintenance, dissolution, everything Krishna is doing. So we can understand what are Krishna's, this supreme God, everything is coming from him. There's nothing other than this material and spiritual. Everything is coming from him. When you know this, there's nothing will remain for you to know, because everything is a combination of matter and spirit here. So Krishna is giving this theoretical knowledge in chapters 7 and 8, which is jnana. Jnana is mainly the difference between matter and spirit, like that. And then in the next chapter, in the 9th, 10th and 11th, Krishna is telling vijnana. Very important verses in 9th chapter, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Very nice. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mami vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam matparayanaha. So Krishna is giving the most confidential knowledge. Raja vidya raja guhyam pavitram idamuttamam pratyakshabagamam dharmyam susukam kartamavyayam. Krishna is telling this is the king of all knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. In the material world, so many universities are there. What knowledge are we getting? All Jada Vidya. So, Krishna is giving the most confidential knowledge, the king of all knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, Idamuttamam. So, all very, very beautiful. Susukam Kartum Avyayam. When we perform this bhakti, we will be very, very blissfully doing. It is very joyfully done. Bhakti Yoga is very joyful. Why is it joyful? Because this happiness that we experience in Bhakti Yoga is coming from the soul. It is not from the body. Yayatma suprasidati. Even sages of Naimisharanya asked this question. What is the essence of all the scriptures? Please. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, very first canto, questions by the sages. There are 6 questions asked. What are the 6 questions that are asked? The very first question is the sages of Naimisharanya asked Suta Goswami. What was the very first question? Please explain to us what is the ultimate, absolute and ultimate good for all people. What is absolute and ultimate good for all people? That's the first question. Second question, please tell us what is the essence of all the scriptures. Because there's so much piles of scriptures, so many instructions, so many things. People don't have praya and alpayusha, sabya, kalavasmin yuge jana, mandasamanda matayo, bandhabhagyahi upadritaha. With all these frailties of Kali Yuga, we don't have time, patience, energy to read all the scriptures. So please tell us the essence of all the scriptures. Please tell us the essence of all the scriptures. So we would like to know that. So that was the second question. Third question that was asked, for what purpose did the Lord appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva? What was the purpose of Krishna's advent? Then the fourth question they asked was, please tell us about the Purusha avatars. That day we explained this 3 Viṣṇus, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Viṣṇu, Kshirodakshaya. So please tell about the Purusha avatars, because first they wanted to hear about Purusha avatars, because they are the they have, even though Krishna, he manifests as these 3 Viṣṇus for the purpose of creation. So please tell us about the Purusha avatars. Then the next question they asked us, please tell us about the Leela avatars. All the Leela avatars. We see in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto, so many avatars like Ram, Narsimha, Vamana and all this. Please, we want to hear about the Leela avatars. The Lord comes and performs the pastimes in different incarnations. We want to hear about that. And then the last question what they asked was, when Krishna went to his own abode, along with him he took dharma and jnana. Krishne svadhamopagate dharma jnanadibhisaha. They asked, after Krishna left this earth, along with him he took dharma and jnana. Where did this dharma and jnana take shelter after his departure? Where does dharma jnana take shelter? So for that first canto, chapter 3, verse 43 is the answer. Krishne svadhamopagate dharma jnanadibhisaha. Kalo nashta drishamesha puranarko dunoditaha. So Krishna, when he went to his own abode, along with him, he took dharma and jnana. So immediately Kali Yuga started. The moment Krishna left this earth, that very moment Kali Yuga started. Then dense darkness. We are all very proud of our eyes. We can see everything. Guess what? At 2 o'clock in the night, where there are no electric lights, no moonlight, nothing, can we see anything at all? But we are very proud of our eyes. We say, oh, I am not blind, I have my eyes. But can we see anything? No. So that is compared to dense darkness. Kali Yuga is compared to the dense darkness. So how to get light in the age of Kali then? Krishna along with him took dharma and jnana, then immediately Kali Yuga came dense darkness. How to get light? Srimad Bhagavatam has arisen into the horizon. Just like in the morning, what will happen? Sun will rise, right? Then all the darkness will be dissipated. Similarly, Bhagavatam has come into the horizon to dissipate the dense darkness of the age of Kali. So that is why Bhagavatam, we have to take shelter of this Bhagavatam. Because in every page, Krishna is personally present there. So if we read Bhagavatam every day, then Kali Yuga will not influence us. And also we have to chant the holy name. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti hayyeko mahan guna kirtana deva kṛtsnasya mukta sangha param rajet. So holy name of the Lord, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are the torch bearers in the age of Kali to get light, to go back home, back to Godhead. That is why it's very important to take shelter of the holy name of the Lord and also read the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Otherwise we'll be in dark. So when there is knowledge, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar, Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Radhikar. When Krishna is present, there is no possibility of Maya. They cannot coexist. They both cannot exist at the same time. If Maya is there, then there is no Krishna. If Krishna is there, no Maya. That is why it is like Krishna Surya Sama. Maya hai andhakar, yahan Krishna tahan nahi Maya radhikar. So we have to take shelter of the scriptures. Prabhupada has slept only 2 hours. Why did he have to sleep only 2 hours? He wrote this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everything like, he spent so much of his valuable life, and that too in such a ripe old age. And everything is ready. Now we can't be bothered to pick the book and start to read. How much Prabhupada has worked hard. We have to think deeply on these things, How much Prabhupada worked hard. Today's everything is ready. Books are ready and, we have to just open it and read. Many times devotees are distributing books, but it's also very important to first read the book ourselves and then distribute. If they ask what's in the book, then we need to know what's there in the books. So like that, so it's very important that we take shelter of these things. So Krishna is saying that, so in this purport, it says that everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is, so what is happening is, when the soul enters the womb of the mother, then the body starts to grow on that. We don't see a dead body becoming pregnant, right? A dead body, we don't see a baby being born out of a dead body. Life comes from life, right? A person who has life, who has consciousness and life, he can give birth to another. So, here it is said that spirit is the basic field of creation. The matter is created by spirit. And matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of the material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. So, what is matter and what is spirit? In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 16th verse, it is said, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance. And of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. What is the nature of matter and spirit? Those who are seers of tattva-darshibi, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, which is material body. See, this material body is there. We don't know any time it can finish. So as soon as the soul enters the womb of the mother, the body starts to grow. From that very moment, the old age has already started. When you go and when you see a 3-year-old boy, we don't know how old that boy is. Do we ask how young you are, or do we ask how old you are? We ask how old. Why do we say old? Because he's just a 3-year-old boy. Why do we use the word old? Because from the time the body started to grow, the aging has started already. He's 1 year old, we say. 1 year boy is not old. He's very young boy, right? But still we say old. Why? Because the deterioration has already begun. It is starting. Boyhood. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Tathā dehāntara prāptir dhīrastatra namuhyati. And this material body, like it is said that it undergoes 6 types of changes. So everything matter changes. It is like even fruit also, like first we'll see flower, then it will become raw fruit, then it will slowly deteriorate. So like that everything matter will also and so like that the seers of the truth have concluded that of the material body there is no endurance. Now is there, next moment the soul, it might leave the body. So it might leave the soul and quit. So like that this body is constantly changing, it is changing. In the material world everything, the time is the pushing thing. Every moment it is like kalosmi loka kshay krit pravruddho lokan samahartamiha pravruttah. In the 11th chapter also Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, who are you? What is your machine? Then Krishna says, kalosmi loka kshay krit pravruddho. Time, I am the great destroyer of all the worlds. Except you Pandavas, everybody will be slain. So like that, Kala will take everything. So spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because of the superior energy, spirit soul is present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the Supersoul Viṣṇu. So we have to understand that the matter has no consciousness. It's inert So it has no consciousness. For the matter to function, there should be a contact with the material energy has to come in contact with spiritual energy. Like for example, the most advanced of all the things in material is an aircraft, right? Airplane, like when we go to airport, we see huge aircrafts, especially when you go to Singapore. Singapore connects 300 flights every day to all over the world. So huge aircraft, they are like double-deck aircrafts and all. That's the most advanced out of all, right? But have you seen any plane flying on its own without the pilot is not there? Have you seen any plane flying on its own? But they say it's all automatic, all automatic. What is all automatic? If it's all automatic, the airplane has to fly on its own, right? But still, The pilot has to sit, he has to touch that button, then he has to operate, then only the flight can take over. So like that, the matter on its own is dead. It cannot function at all. It has to come in contact with the spiritual energy for it to function. So when the pilot sits and turns on that thing, however automatic it may be, but still the spiritual energy has to come in contact with material energy for it to operate, right? So like that, here that's what it is said here, that therefore spirit and matter which combine to manifest the gigantic universal form are originally two energies of the Lord. So Krishna is telling these two energies are the basic principle of this material manifestation, the matter and spirit, and I am the source of both. So Krishna tells, and then in the next few verses, Krishna tells about Krishna is the active principle of everything. Like Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhashmi shashi suryayoho pranavah sarva vedeshu shabdha ke paurushan rishu. He says, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable om in the Vedic mantras, and the sound in ether, and the ability in man. So when we drink water, what will happen? The taste of the water quenches our thirst. What is the essential principle of that water? Is the taste. Krishna says, I am the taste. And I am the ability in man. We see man builds such a beautiful skyscrapers and all. And we see how he is able to do that. Krishna is saying, I am the ability in man. Everything that we do, Krishna is giving ability. In the first canto of Bhagavatam, Arjuna says, actually Yudhishthira Maharaj sends Arjuna, go and ask about what are Krishna's next activities. So Arjuna goes and then he doesn't return for 7 months. Krishna is thinking then the Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking, what's going on? Why Arjuna is not returning? Then after a long time, Arjuna comes back and is very much dejected and very depressed and all that. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj goes on asking so many speculative inquiries, why you don't. Then all this, then finally Arjuna says that my most dear friend has left us and gone, and the same horses are there, same chariot, same horses, same everything, same Arjuna, everything, but everything has become null and void. Krishna has left and all my powers are I could defeat so many great people, but now I couldn't even protect this infidel cover. So all these things, women, and then like that, then Arjuna says that, without Krishna, all my energies are being so we are very proud of borrowed plumes, we have to understand when we are empowered by something, are we our own, is it our own thing? But Krishna empowers us, only then we can do. We cannot be proud of anything. Suddenly if Krishna withdraws, everything finish. So Arjuna realized that very much, when Krishna went, all my powers are gone, like that, So like that we also should understand that everything that we have, whatever abilities or whatever talents, everything, Krishna is a gift of Krishna to us. And we have to use it in a very nice way. So like that, Krishna says, I am the ability in man, the son of the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable om in the Vedic mantras, and the ability in man. Then Krishna says that Punyo Gandha Prithvivyam Cha Tejaschasmi Vibhavaso Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapaschas. I am the original fragrance of the earth and the heat in fire and the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Bijam mam sarva bhūtānam viddhipartha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. I am the original seed of all existences and the intelligence of the intelligent and the prowess of all powerful men. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarsabha. Then he is saying that I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. So when Krishna is everything, why people cannot understand Krishna? Then Krishna says that Echaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasas chaye mattaye veti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mai. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they on the contrary are within me. So when Krishna is everything, he is the essence of everything, he is the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, and he is saying that all the 24 bhumi, rapo, everything is coming from me. Why we are not able to understand him? त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैरेभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Krishna is not under the modes. He is controlling the modes. So like that, because we are deluded by these three modes, we cannot understand Krishna. Krishna also says 7.25, Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati lokoma majamavyayam. I am never manifest, foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by Yogamaya potency. Therefore they cannot understand me. So like that, Krishna covers. So like this, here also he is telling that deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Daivi Hesha, very important verse. Daivi Hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamevaye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is actually Krishna says difficult. I feel that very difficult should have been added there. Difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. The only way to overcome these modes is by surrendering. Arjuna asked in 14th chapter, what does he ask? He says, Arjuna uvacha, he asked that question, how to transcend these three modes. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha paramveti madbhavam sojiga gunanetana tityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jaradak. So Arjuna asks, how can one transcend these modes? What is his behavior? How does he? So of course he asks, how can one transcend these modes? Then Krishna at a length he explains. Sri Bhagavan uvacha prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham me vacha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanivrittani kankshati udasina vadasino gunaryo navichalyate gunavartanta ityevam yovatishtati nengate samadukka sukha svashta samaloshtasmakanchana. So like that Krishna tells all this, and then finally he answers, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in my devotional service unfailing in all circumstances at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So like that, what is the secret? How can we transcend these modes? By bhakti yoga. That is the only. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Only when we engage in devotional service, we can transcend these modes. There is no other way. Otherwise, this entire world is contaminated by the modes of all the Vedas. Even Krishna tells, 2nd chapter, 45th verse, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Oh Arjuna, transcend this. All the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes. Become transcendent. Transcend these modes. Everything in the material world is contaminated by these three modes. What is transcendental knowledge? We say 4th chapter is transcendental knowledge. What is this transcendental knowledge? Knowledge that is not contaminated by these three modes is called transcendental knowledge. That's what Krishna tells. How to attain the transcendental knowledge? Krishna tells, Evam parampar, first imam vivashvate yogam proktavan ahamavyayam vivashvan manave praha manurikshva kave bravit. Originally Krishna spoke this knowledge to who? Vivashvan. Who is Vivashvan? The sun god. Sun god instructed it to Manu. Who is Manu? Is father of mankind. Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Like that, all the transcendental came in disciplic succession. Then Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nasta parantapa. So the supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and in course of time the succession was broken. Therefore, I am again speaking. So whom did Krishna choose to speak this knowledge to? Arjuna. Why did he specifically choose Arjuna? Why not Duryodhana? Because Arjuna was his friend and a devotee. Saevayam mayate dhya yoga proktah puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. What is the other qualification that Arjuna had that Krishna spoke this knowledge to him? What's that? What's that? He was never envious. 9th chapter, very first verse, Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan uvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyam yanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshasya shubhat. Now I shall declare unto you this because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge. So Arjuna's another qualification why Krishna spoke this knowledge to him was because he was never envious. Very important. Anasuyave. He was not envious of Krishna. Very important qualification. So like that, Nirmatsara, Matsara and Nirmatsara. In the Dharma Projahita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. Only people who are Nirmatsara can understand Bhagavatam, not Matsara. So like that, he was never envious of Krishna. Then Krishna spoke, then Arjuna asked this question, long time back you are saying you spoke this knowledge to Viṣṇu. How am I to understand? Now I am sitting here, you are sitting here, we both are like that. Then Krishna says, Atakena prayukto, no, not that one. Then he says that, Aparam bhavato janma, param janma, vivashvataha, katham etad-yonīni, tvam madho proktavaniti. How am I to understand that long time back he spoke this knowledge to all these people? Then Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan uvacha bhūtāni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvāṇi natvam vetha parantapa. Many births both and you and I have passed. But what is the difference? I can remember all of them, but you cannot. Why Krishna is able to remember, why Arjuna are not able to remember? Yeah, that's a very known fact. But why was that Arjuna could remember and Krishna could remember and Arjuna forgot? Yeah, because Krishna doesn't change his body, but whereas Arjuna change our body, right? Krishna is Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam Cha. Purana, go in the morning we sing Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Adi Purusha, Krishna is Adi Purusha. He never changes his body. His body is Satchidananda, not like our body. Asat Achitni. Of course, we can also get that. But the thing is, here Krishna is telling many births you and I have passed, I can remember all of them. Then Krishna says, Ajopi sanna vyayatma bhūtānam ishvaropi san prakritim svamadhisthaya sambhavamyatmamaye. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. When does Krishna appear? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever they decline in religious practice and a predominant rise of religion, at that time I manifest myself. Why does Krishna come? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I manifest myself. Then the most important verse, I'll tell this and stop the class. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naitima meti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my birth and activities. Is Krishna's birth like our birth? We are forced to take birth by karma. Is Krishna's birth like that? No. Divyam. Janma karma cha me divyam. It is completely transcendental. Janma karma change. My birth, one who knows the nature, transcendental nature of my birth and activities. What are Krishna's activities? Is it an ordinary Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, such a small boy, 7-year-old boy? And Krishna on purpose, he might have lifted from the left hand to show that left hand is more weaker, like generally most of us are right-handed, right? Left hand is most, and on that the weakest finger, Krishna is lifting to show his supreme godhood, how he is able to do this. Yeah, these are the things we understand. What is Krishna? How Krishna is supreme God. He is able to do that. So these are the things when Krishna is saying, when you understand the nature of my birth and activities, you will never again take birth again. Very, very important. Thank you all very much for your attention, and hope it made sense, whatever I spoke. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.